Would you take a look at that shit? Do you see that spinning wheel? Do you know what that means? That means it's time for the regular season to start. This is our magical side bet wheel of doom. I don't know. If you weren't here last year, maybe you've forgotten. Each week we have a side mission, completely random. Anybody could win. What we do is we take the money from our side pot, all those contracts, keepers, additional $5 players. We throw it into a pot. We divvy that up, and each week somebody gets a little slice of the pie. So, just to belabor the review of Carl's team, I figured I better get this out of the way before kickoff tonight. So, week one, what's it look like? Most combined rush yards, my Rushmore. So, we're going to take running backs, we're going to take rushing quarterbacks. Hell, we'll take wide receiver end arounds. Anybody that puts up a couple rushing yards, that all gets tracked at the end of the week, Monday night. The team that has the highest total rush yards gets their piece of the pie. I'm not sure what that number is yet. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know later on. But there you have it. My Rushmore, this week's side mission. So, remove that one from the old list. We'll come back to that later. It's been a slog. I'm not going to lie to you. I was really excited about this approximately 3 weeks ago. I'm relieved that this is the last team. Carl, who's just giddy with excitement. Yes, he's sitting at number one overall on Fantasy Pros. They gave him a perfect 100. I don't know what they were thinking. He's also sitting at number one on ESPN. I I tried to remain as objective as possible. I really did. Um, I'll get into it here, but I mean, yeah, he's number one projected team. Take that for what it's worth. Carl, let's take a look at your squad, man. Let's take a look under the hood of that mighty Cavalier and see what we're working with, huh? Quarterback, we've got Justin Fields and Deshaun Watson. Um, yeah, I mean, Justin Fields really kind of burst on the scene last year. Um, he was 1,100 yard rusher. He was a 2,200 yard passer. Yeah. Um, one of those numbers is likely to change, and it's not the one that's going to make a positive fantasy impact. It's the rushing. It's going to go down. So we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah. Does DJ Moore magically make him a 3,000 yard passer? Probably not. Um, I don't. I have a hard time believing he's going to rush for over 1,000 yards again. Let's be real. It's been a real point of emphasis in Chicago. They drafted offensive line help. They brought in DJ Moore. They beefed up the running back room. Donta Foreman, Roshan Johnson. So I think it's clear that they want to try and balance things out and not risk hurting their star quarterback. But be that as it may, Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Watson. I want to call everybody Dijon. It's just delicious. Um, could he bounce back and become, the last, the Deshaun Watson that we used to know before he raped a bunch of gals and was like a QB4, QB5 in fantasy? Or is he going to take all that money and turn into a pumpkin and just go back into hiding? I don't know. It's hard to see. But, I mean, it totally makes sense to balance the two out with each other. It's a B minus group. I mean, I think Justin Fields, he still has upside. He's still going to run. That's not going to change. I just don't think he'll run as often. So, maybe you get something like close to a 3,000 yard passer and a 700 yard rusher. something in the Daniel Jones vein. That still puts him at Daniel Jones was QB8 last year. So, Fields could still finish right in the same range he did this last year. Um, I don't know. He'd really have to make some dramatic improvements in the passing game to turn a corner. So we'll see. Running back Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad White, Josh Jacobs. And we go down here. We've got DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny. We've got Deion Jackson and Zach Moss. A couple of recent moves. And if you weren't just paying attention, yeah, I'll reiterate that he has the corner on the market of both Philly and Indy running back groups. Four backs for two teams. Interesting. Interesting. I really like Ramondre. I can't really say anything negative about Ramondre. Much was made about the Zeke acquisition. I don't think it doesn't hurt him at all. I mean, Zeke maybe becomes short yardage guy, maybe third downs for a little pass defense. Uh, it probably helps Ramondre more than anything, just because it gives him a chance to get off the field and remain fresh, probably deeper into games. So I think that's good. Rashad White, if I could be contrarian, I really don't like Rashad White. It's a poor offense. The quarterback situation is garbage. Uh, he was just inefficient last year anyway, and that was with Tom Brady at quarterback. He only put up 3.8 yards per carry. He caught 50 balls, but again, that was Tom Brady throwing him the ball. I don't know if that's Baker's game or not. Um, I don't know if Baker really mixed in the running back that much. Uh, yeah, I just Rashad White, not my favorite pick. However, Josh Jacobs is the complete opposite side of the coin. Now, do I think we'll see Josh Jacobs from last year? It was like 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 40, 50 grabs? Probably not. I also don't think he'll fall completely off of a cliff. So do we see like 400 fewer yards rushing, which puts him back in line with like his first 4 years? Yeah, but that's really not going to change a whole lot. So Josh Jacobs is good. As much as I'd like to deny it, Josh Jacobs is good. Um, the last four guys, though, the two Eagles and two Colts, it really just feels like a contradiction. You're going to be chasing who to flex each week. Is DeAndre going to have the blow up game, and then Rashad Penny's going to have the blow up game? Stop it! I got dogs. It's a whole thing. Um, Indy again, just kind of a gross situation for running backs not named Jonathan Taylor. And even when Taylor gets back, probably gross for him too. Uh, it's long story short, B minus. All right, you got two really solid starters, probably even above solid, a step up from solid, and then hopefully a consistent flex out of the rest of the bunch. Whether you end up flexing Rashad White or DeAndre Swift, something like that. But I think you've got at least three, maybe four guys to work with out of there. So yeah, B minus is good. It's good. Wide receiver. Carl thinks that he has the greatest receiving group in the league. They pretty good. You got Tyreek, you got the Sun God, you got Devontae Adams. There's Christian Watson, and then did I miss? Nope. Then when we go down, we got Deontay Johnson, Kadarius Toney. So look, I mean, as far as a top three goes, yeah, it's an elite group. You know, I could try and nitpick Amon Ra's scoring touchdowns. We could really question Jimmy Garoppolo throwing to Devontae Adams. Um, I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it changes things a whole lot for these guys, particularly Adams. Yeah, they're going to finish. The three of them will probably finish right inside the top 10, maybe top 12. So yeah, that's fantastic. Beyond that, Christian Watson, he showed, I mean, the second half of last year, he was huge. That was with Aaron Rodgers. What's Jordan Love? Who's Jordan Love? Does Christian Watson's hamstring keep him out this week? He was a no practice guy today, so I don't know. And then beyond that, Deontay Johnson, I think there's positive regression for him. He didn't score any touchdowns last year. Obviously, that's going to change. But I think as Kenny Pickett takes a step forward, George Pickens will get more involved. Pat Fryermuth will also get more involved. So, the whole thing could balance out. Kadarius Toney, it's fun, it's cute. He's this little guy that makes tons of plays, but you got to wrap him in bubble wrap. Who knows how many plays he'll be out on the field for any given week. So, I mean, yeah, he's an electrifying playmaker that is also made of glass. Um, it's an A grade. I mean, look, I could try and throw shade at it. It's with those top three guys, it's an A grade no matter how you cut it. So, it's like four consistent starters week in and week out. Um, Probably not my favorite group, though. It's not my favorite group. How about that? Tight end. We've got David Njoku, and we've got this bastard Cole Kmet down here. Um, Look, at least you paired him up, right? Uh, I've railed against tight end all off season long, and I'll continue to do so. Congratulations on your C grade. You paired up two promising tight ends? Question mark. So there you go. All right, on to the good stuff. The defense, the IDPs, D line. We've got Miles Garrett. Enough said. We've got Harold Landry. But that's it. The buck stops there. So look, I mean, all Miles Garrett's going to do is get like 17 sacks and four forced fumbles. Big whoop, you know. Um, the last the last time we saw Landry, he had 12 sacks, uh, tore his ACL last year, missed the entire year. He's had almost a full year to come back from it, though, so who knows what we'll get. But that cuts both ways. Who knows what you'll get out of your DN that hasn't played in a year? So, Miles Garrett alone, it's a B plus, right? If you had something a little bit more consistent on that second D line, you probably would have an A there as well. But since there's a huge unknown right behind Garrett, it's a B plus. It's fine. Linebacker, linebacker. Roquan, Aluakan. You've got Devin White, JOK, Divine Diablo. Yeah. Um, this is another deal where your top three guys are just fucking elite. So congratulations. Um, JOK, it might be Browns fan blasphemy, but he's been pretty underwhelming, right? Particularly if you want to say IDP. I guess I can't say for sure in game, but for IDP, he's been pretty underwhelming. Um, Diablo, I believe he's a converted safety, if I'm not mistaken. He's still kind of working it. He's getting his feet under him. They brought in Bob Spillane from Pittsburgh to help lighten the load for Diablo a little bit, but he'll get a ton of snaps. He's super athletic, so that's kind of a wild card there. It's an A grade for this group. Blech. And then on to the DB group, we've got L'Jarius Sneed, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Grant Delpit. So L'Jarius Sneed, his offseason has been a little bit enigmatic. He's battled some knee swelling. He's got some sort of knee injury. That seems like it's behind him. The bigger part, though, in Spag's defense, he made his hay playing nickel corner, which normally I would not get that excited about. But for whatever reason, in Spag's defense, this is a big deal. Well, allegedly, they're moving Trent McDuffie into this nickel alignment, and L'Jarius Sneed might have to play outside. Um, To chalk it all up to the alignment, though, might be selling Sneed's athleticism and skill short. The dude's a hell of a player. So we'll just have to see if moving him around the field hurts. I don't know. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Minka Fitzpatrick, it's hard to believe that Fitzpatrick's only been in the league. This will be his 6th season. It feels like the dude's been around forever. So I was surprised to see that. Um, they brought in Keanu Neal, who will be the box safety, which I don't think really hurts Fitzpatrick. His tackle numbers will go down a little bit. I think he did sort of the same thing last year. His tackle numbers were down. His picks went up, though. I'm sure we'll see that same thing again this year. Yes, picks are hard to set a clock to, but he's pretty consistent playmaker back there, so it seems like a safe bet to me. And then Delpit, who was actually probably my favorite of the bunch here. 100 tackles last year, 4 picks. Probably one of the more slept on defensive backs in all of fantasy, right? So kudos to you. He's sitting on the bench, whatever, but I really like the player. So uh, it's a C plus group, though, being real. Just with the questions around Sneed, maybe a slightly different alignment for Fitzpatrick playing deeper. I don't know if the consistent floor will be there in terms of like tackles week to week. So C plus for now, but good guys, interesting group. So that being said, I did the math. I punched up the numbers. Yes, you grade out to a B, which, yes, is the highest grade that we've given out so far. So there you have it. It's still only a B, though, Carl. Quit patting yourself on the back, which also starts with a B. All right, there we go. I did it. 10 reviews. We got the side mission live. Kickoff still a couple hours away. I may never make another video again. I hope you're happy. Goodbye.